Welcome to Master the Game. I am Juice, and today I've got my monster manual open, and we're going to talk about skeletons. So let's get started. Make sure you head on over to rpgjuice.com, where you can get caught up on the latest videos, the latest news, and blog posts from Juice himself. So I've got my monster manual here, and I'm on page 272 and 273, and I'm really enjoying skeletons. Now, I have not used a lot of skeletons in my games. I'm not going to lie. I feel like it's one of the low-level monsters I typically gloss over because I like other monsters and undead so much. I really enjoy zombies. I like the idea of mummies. I've even used hands, and I've used all sorts of other low-level monsters: goblins, kobolds, orcs. And so I was looking at this passage in the book, and I get really excited because, again, I like that it's another low-level monster I can use. I can use on first-level parties, and I can use a lot of them. The thing about skeletons that's really cool, and in previous editions, you could do, they were not invulnerable, but piercing weapons, I think, were half damage. That is not something that this covers. However, that's something that I want to encourage you guys to still use. Your former grognards, your longtime players, your grognards will probably appreciate that, to be honest. Especially when they shoot arrows with their ranger, and it just goes through. The other thing you could do is just say, hey, unless it's a critical with an arrow, doesn't hurt. Again, that's not something that's a 5e rule. I just think it's cool. It'll make, skeletons a little bit harder. And, it's a nice way around the fact that some people as humans take feats that allow them to do some cool stuff with archers. So, anyways, rogues, rogue assassins, things like that. So, anyways, skeletons, though, they are a quarter CR. Their armor class is a 13. It says it has armor scraps. You could always put heavier armor on them to up that armor class, and I think that's a cool idea. Their hit points are only 13. They have a vulnerability to bludgeoning damage, which means bludgeoning damage is doubled. So your mauls, your maces, your warhammers, those things should do double damage. Staffs, things like that. Their stats are pretty low. Their constitution's pretty good. It's a +2 mod. Dex, surprisingly, is a +2 mod. They're immune to poison. They're immune to exhaustion. Dark vision of 60 feet, which is kind of funny because, again, they don't have eyes. Passive perception of only a 9. They understand all languages they knew in life, but they can't speak. According to the game, they have short swords with a +4 to hit, and they have short bows as a +4 to hit. I think that's fine. I think sometimes throwing on a shield for fun is a good idea with a skeleton. Anything you can do to take a low-level monster and throw a lot of them the way the book says, but then give one stronger one. The one stronger one, again, might have a shield, might have better armor. Now, I wouldn't make it much better, but I can tell you from this, it's only getting a +1 to its armor class from its armor. Its armor scraps. But if you throw on some hide armor or something a little better, maybe splint mail or a breastplate or something, you can make him a little bit tougher. So, again, skeletons are really cool. Now, the way you would use skeletons is very similar to how I've discussed in my other monster videos. They can be servants. They can just be wandering around a dungeon that they died in. Crypt, all of the same things I've kind of covered with my zombies and mummy videos. Serving necromancers. Again, all this stuff, there's a common theme with undead, and you can just do that. Or you could just, for the hell of it, have a skeleton army. I like this idea. Give them a lich as their leader, or just give them a decked out skeleton leader. Take the same thing from here. Boom. Full plate. Freaking shield. Awesome weapon. Maybe he has He's just a higher level, so make it a higher level skeleton, so you can give him a better proficiency. Maybe you up his stats a little bit, but it's still a skeleton. He's still vulnerable to bludgeoning. You can make a really cool mini campaign with just a skeleton that's beefed up a little bit, and it would serve your players up through, say, level 5 or 6, and that'd be a lot of fun. And it could lead to a lot of other things down the road. Now, there's also the Minotaur skeleton and the Warhorse skeleton. Now, again, give that Warhorse to your leader skeleton, because I think that's a cool idea. The Minotaur is a challenge of only a 2, and he is armor class 12, which is really low. 67 hit points, has a 40-foot speed, same vulnerability. He has a charge action. If the skeleton moves at least 10 feet straight toward a target and then hits it with the gore attack on the same turn, the target takes an extra 2d8 piercing damage. So this, based on the challenge, is great for low-level parties, right? But if he hits his charge attack on any character, and I don't care who it is, I don't care what class, I don't care if it's a barbarian, if they are level 2 or lower, there's a good chance that's going to kill them. Now, the reason I point this out is because people talk about how CRs are very difficult to balance, and this guy is great for that, right? He's not too powerful. Like, he's actually, pretty easy to kill. I would say, 2-3 rounds against an adequate party, and he's going to drop. But if he hits one person with that charge, especially if you're a solo frontline guy, he's going to mess him up. Possibly kill him. His Great Axe, +6 to hit, 2d12 +4. If you crit with that, dead. The Gore, +6 to hit, 2d8 damage. So again, if he's hitting your characters, they are going to drop. His challenge feels low. It really does. But it's possible to kill him with a low-level party. He's going to be tough, though. And I would say there's a good chance you're going to make some people upset at your table if you're throwing them at them at first level, and they aren't prepared for really tough encounters. Again, this is going to come down to your groups. Personally, I'd be fine with it, but I know there are some groups that have some sensitive players that, are going to be bummed when they've spent 3 hours making a character, and now they're into their first session, and then they die. If you have new players, don't throw this at your brand new players. Dying frequently early on for new players sometimes doesn't sit well with them. So just something to keep in mind. The Warhorse skeleton. Armor class 13, he has barding scraps. And hit points 22, speed of 60 feet. Surprisingly has some good physical stats. Again, he's only a half challenge, so that's not too bad. Again, though, vulnerable to bludgeoning, immune to poison. His attacks are hooves, +6 to hit, 2d6 +4 bludgeoning damage. Now, if you got a skeleton on top of a warhorse, you're going to get the 2d6 hooves that are +6 to hit. That's going to hurt. Basically, if you have anything less than, say, a 16 armor class, there's a good chance that's going to hit. If that's a first level character, you're probably going to drop them. Then the skeleton on top is probably going to use the short sword or the short bow. And if they have an AC of 14 or less, there's about a 50% chance they're going to hit them too. So, again, these are tough things to fight at first level, but it's possible. I think in small amounts, they're manageable, and I think will be a lot of fun for a party and feel challenging at low levels. So again, throw a couple skeletons, maybe throw one warhorse skeleton. So say you have 2 skeletons by themselves, another one on top of a warhorse skeleton, and they're fighting your 4 party members. I think that's a good encounter. It's going to be really tough, and there's a good chance you're going to have to either be making death saves or your cleric's going to come in very useful. So yeah, that's it. That's my coverage on skeletons. Do you use skeletons at low levels, or do you like to use them on high levels? I'd love to hear below. How have you used skeletons in your games? what is your favorite thing to do with them? Maybe you do special magic items on them that beef them up in some ways. Again, leave that in the comments below. If this is your first time here, please, please, please smash that subscribe button. Be sure to hammer the like button, and I'll see you next time. This was Master the Game. I am Juice. Game on.